What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to go over a super easy, beginner-friendly trading strategy that you can use to make some massive profit trading Bitcoin. Now, I myself have used this strategy many times in the past with success, and I actually used this strategy a couple of days ago to get into a super profitable Bitcoin long. And I am still currently holding that position. It's up between $3,600 and $4,000, obviously fluctuating with price. So I wanted to make this quick video, although I've talked about this strategy before on my live stream. I wanted to make a pre-recorded video to show you guys exactly how I use this to make money, as we're currently in a trade using that strategy. Now, in this video, guys, number one, I want to go over the actual indicator and what we're going to be looking at. I want to show you some examples of this strategy playing out. Then I'm going to talk about the rules and what we need to see to actually enter the trade. And then I'm going to go over the actual position I'm in right now and show you guys how I was able to get into this position using this exact strategy on Friday. And now we're up about $4,000. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and start breaking down this strategy so the mafia can stuff their pockets with even more money. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart. And as you can see here, I have Market Cipher B open right now. Now, if you do not know what Market Cipher B is, please check the Market Cipher tutorials that I have on the channel. I'll link them in a card above, and then go learn about Market Cipher and then come back to learn this strategy that is kind of a prerequisite for actually taking these trades. And if you don't have Market Cipher, but you want to get it and you want to use this strategy, you can use the link in the description down below and my discount code MCFrank20 to save 20% on Market Cipher, as it is a paid indicator. I tried to find something that would line up and give us a free alternative here, guys, so I can at least give you guys a free alternative, but there really is nothing that exists for this specific strategy. So it's either Market Cipher or nothing for this one, but we'll have plenty of free strategies coming down the line very soon. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this strategy, I want to talk about some of the basics. Now, for this strategy, we're going to be looking at two major time frames. Now, there are multiple pairs of time frames that you can look at, but for this video, I'm going to stick to the 4-hour and the 15-minute because these are the specific time frames that I use to enter the trade that I'm in right now. So for this specific example, what we're going to be looking for is a 4-hour green or red dot with the 15-minute money flow crossing either into the green or into the red, corresponding obviously with the red or the green dot. So if you see a green dot on the 4-hour, you're going to go right down to the 15-minute and look for money flow crossing into the green. If you have a red dot on the 4-hour, you're going to go down to the 15-minute and you're going to look for that 15-minute money flow crossing over into the red. When we see this happen, oftentimes we can see a significant move to the downside or the upside, depending on which setup you're seeing. In the specific case of my trade right now, it was a 4-hour green dot and a 15 money flow crossover into the green. So if you just go ahead and come down to the 15-minute, you'll actually be able to identify, anytime you really get a money flow crossover, you could see we had a money flow crossover into the green right here, and we wound up getting, some kind of a move to the upside to the tune of about 8.78%. And then you see we even got another major money flow crossover right here, which wound up giving you, give or take about a 4% move to the upside. And then you can see right here, we had another money flow crossover into the green, and this wound up giving you a move of about 9, almost 10%. And this may or may not be the money flow crossover that we were looking at to take this trade. But, anytime you wind up getting a crossover into the green, as long as you're looking at this within context of the time frame you're watching, you get a money flow crossover here, you wind up getting some kind of a move up to the tune of about 1.9%. Money flow crossover into the green right here once again. You wind up getting another push up of about 2.8%, so on and so forth, right? Anytime you see these money flow crossovers, as this does indicate the trend is likely to continue up, again, based on the time frame you're looking at. So if you see a 15-minute money flow crossover into the green, you're expecting somewhat of a trend to the upside on the 15-minute. That's very important that you're paying attention to the time frames, right? Because just because you have a money flow crossover into the green on the 15-minute doesn't mean you're about to launch into a long-term 6-month uptrend, right? It's within the context of the time frame you're looking at. So you can see money flow crossover into the green obviously wound up giving us a nice little move up of about 11.6%. I highly recommend, if you're new, you go back and you backtest this yourself. But as you can see here, just these random examples that I looked at, any money flow crossover into the green did wind up, increasing the likelihood that we would see a trend to the upside. Now, very similar to that, if you go ahead and mark out all your money flow crossovers into the red, or we just do a couple, in the recent price action, you can see money flow crossover into the red here. This did wind up, although we did get a wick to the upside, we did wind up getting a move down. right? Over here, you get another money flow crossover into the red right before a move to the downside. This was actually part of a setup that we put in the premium Discord, letting everybody know this may be a sign of weakness before a move down, and that 15-minute money flow crossover into the red would likely be the thing that starts the move down, and indeed, the money flow crosses into the red, and you almost instantly get a move to the downside of about 10.59%, and that's not even bringing it all the way down to the low. The point is, the money flow crosses over. Typically, you will see the trend continue in that direction based off the time frame you're looking at, right? Even here, right? Money flow crossover into the red. You do wind up getting a move to the downside. And the beauty of being a day trader or a scalper like we are on this YouTube channel, especially when you're using leverage, is you don't need a big 200% move. All you need is a small move, right? All I need as a trader is a 1% move up or down in price, and I can make a good amount of money off of that move. So when you're seeing 6.5% moves down, when you're using leverage, this is a massive move and can bring massive, massive profit. Although 6% on the actual chart with no leverage doesn't seem like that big of a move. But when you're trading with leverage and you understand what's going on, you can make a lot of money on these dumps to the downside. So this is just the example of like what money flow actually does on the chart, right? Like how you expect money flow to behave. Now it's not 100% of the time, because as you can see, you do get fake outs into the red. You get fake outs like right here. You can see you get a little bit of a fake out into the red. You come right back into the green. So it's not just like a end all be all. This is the God strategy. You're about to make $1 million and get rich overnight, but it is pretty reliable in my opinion. And I've caught some pretty nice trades off of this strategy. So now that you have an idea of how the money flow winds up behaving, I always like to tell the mafia, red and green dots are the ebbs and flows in the market, right? So your red and green dots would be something like this, like green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, right? And then your money flow crossover, which happened right here on the 15-minute at least, indicates the trend, the overall trend that will likely continue. So with that being said, I want to show some examples here of previous times this has actually played out pretty well. So I'm going to pull up example number 1, and you can see here, this was where we had a money flow crossover on the 15-minute, and I'm actually going to go ahead and come into bar replay mode, and I'm going to come up to the 4-hour time frame, because this is usually the thing that triggers me to go look for an entry into the trade. So you can see we're looking at the 4-hour time frame right here, and we're getting a green dot. On top of that, we do actually have a double green dot, which could be argued that this is somewhat likely to be a bottom, right? It's not just guaranteed to be a bottom, but it is likely to be a bottom here, or a bottom is likely to be coming in very soon. So I see that green dot printing. So instantly my thought here is I'm going to go down to the lower time frame, such as the 15-minute, and see what money flow is doing. As I come down here to the 15-minute, you can see, right, if we zoom out a bit, money flow is very clearly trending to the upside. Right now, obviously it has ups and downs, but the trend is overall to the upside, right? We are basically making a low, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? That is a trend to the upside, which could indicate to us that we are likely to see a crossover into the green somewhat soon. And we now know, understanding and backtesting this strategy, that if this money flow crosses into the green while that green dot on the 4-hour is printing, we may be able to get a pretty reliable move to the upside. Now, I do want to be clear before we move forward, guys. You do want to do other forms of TA. You don't just want to see the money flow cross into the green and blindly enter along just because you have a green dot on the 4-hour. You're still going to have to do other TA. You need to understand that you are coming down to a strong level of support, and I will show you some of the confluence I like to look for, and I'm actually going to talk about it right now, but I just want to be clear. I don't recommend that anybody just blindly trade based off a market cipher and not looking at anything else at all, but you guys will see this is a very reliable strategy, but I just want to point that out. With any strategy, you want to use multiple levels of confluence. However, as you can see here, money flow is trending to the upside. We have the 4-hour green dot. So that's the setup right there, right? You got money flow trending up. I know if it crosses into the green, I know in the back of my head that 4-hour green dot's printing, and it's likely going to give us a move to the upside. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky because it's hard to say where you should exactly enter. Because if you are going to front run the crossover into the green here and you enter right now, you do, run the chance of getting a little bit of a better entry. But if this money flow never crosses into the green and you just come back down into a bigger red wave, you do risk entering a little bit early and then just getting stopped out, right? So it comes a little bit more risk at the benefit of a little bit of a better entry, I would recommend wait for the crossover to at least start to happen. However, the idea here is you see that this is likely to happen. So now that we took a look at that example, let's take a look at our second example, and that is going to be the trade that I'm actually holding right now. So I will pull this up live right now. This trade was taken on BingX, one of my favorite exchanges. If you're out there and you want to trade with the Mafia and maybe use this strategy to get in and out of some nice Bitcoin longs and shorts, you can check out BingX, link in the description down below, and they always have deals running for the Mafia if you use our link, so definitely check that out. But you can see here we are up about 358%. We were up 400% not too long ago. Like I said, I am still holding this trade, so it's basically fluctuating between $3,500 and $4,000. You can see we are really taking these trades, and there you go, right? Enter this position on Friday, and nobody's mad about an extra $3,500 for hanging out with your friends on the weekend. So I want to talk about exactly how I was able to get this entry right here. And again, it was based off of that exact same strategy. So you can see right here, my entry for this trade was $63,756. So guys, this is about where my entry was. So let's go ahead back into bar replay mode, and let's go ahead and take a look at what we saw going on the charts that made me enter this trade. Well, number one, right off the bat, take a look at this dang money flow. Now, whether you see the 4-hour first or the 15-minute first, it doesn't really matter, right? So the 15-minute, I see this money flow flying to the upside, looking to cross over into the green. My first thought is, hey, if this crosses into the green and I go to the 4-hour and see a green dot printing, I may be able to catch a decent move to the upside here, right? Now, on top of that, there are other reasons to look for a bounce here. Number one, just like the previous example, we actually do have a bullish divergence here on the 15-minute time frame with lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, and your money flow coming up. So again, my thought here is if I go to the 4-hour and see a green dot printing or even about to print, that is going to add a lot of confidence to this continued move to the upside, and it could make it very likely that this was some kind of a significant local bottom. So we're going to go over the 4-hour time frame, and we're going to go ahead and check for that green dot. Now you can see we actually do not have a green dot here, but what we can do is zoom into Market Cipher and see the direction of the VWAP. If this VWAP is about to cross over the 0 line, this means that we're likely to print a green dot here, right? So although we're not seeing the green dot printing right now, we're also not seeing the money flow crossover into the green just yet, right? So the thought here is let's wait for this 15-minute VWAP to come down, give us a local pullback, and by the time it rolls back to the upside, maybe we'll have money flow crossing into the green and a 4-hour green dot. So let's see if we get that little pullback. There you go. Bada boom. You get that little pullback based off this red dot on the 15-minute, giving us a potential nice entry here. So we see price pulling back just a little bit. We pulled this local fib, golden pocket sitting right here. If I pull up Lux Algo and the Lux Algo Smart Trail is coming right in this area of support, that is a beautiful confluence that could be a nice entry on a higher low, right? Because this is what we're doing. We got the bounce, right? And then we're waiting for a retracement to get a better entry. Where are we likely to put in a higher low before continuing up? That is right, the 786 Golden Pocket Retracement Zone. And again, using Lux Algo Premium, another paid indicator that I love to use. We also offer discounts for that in the description down below if you guys are interested. But I use this technique to enter my trades very often, right? We're using that 4-hour, 15-minute strategy as our kind of theory and trade idea. But when we want to snipe these lower time frame entries and you want to wait for a pullback to enter in on a higher low, oftentimes those higher lows will come in on a smart trail, especially if it comes in confluence with the Golden Pocket 786. And what happens? We come right down to that smart trail. We get the bounce that we're looking for. This would be where I would look to enter, but obviously we know my entry was a little bit higher than that, so it bounced pretty quickly. I got in right here, so let's go ahead and put our long position in. And like I said, you can use many different things to find your targets. You can use the volume profile, right? So I will pull that volume profile real quick. And you can see right here, we are coming down to key support, which is the value area low. This could be the reclaim of the macro value area low, which may be able to send us all the way up to that POC of the range. So I'm going to target that POC, understanding that obviously we are going to have some levels in between, right? Like I said, we have take profit videos on the channel if you want to learn how to find good levels to take profit at. But you can see we have a golden pocket of 786 on the way up to our final TP. I always recommend having multiple take profits. And then as we look down here at Market Cipher B, what is going on now? We are getting that money flow crossover into the green on the 15-minute. We come back up to our 4-hour. And we are now getting our green dot. At this point, we have a lot on our side for this trade to play out the way we want it to. We're above the value area low, and we know as soon as you hold that value area low as support, the next likely place for price to go, as long as you don't lose that level, is going to be the POC of the range, right? And then eventually, you could even potentially target the value area high of the range, which, this could be a beautiful little range trade, right? But again, this 4-hour, 15-minute strategy is more on where to enter the trade, right? So at this point, you got the green dot on the 4-hour. The 15-minute money flow is crossing over into the green. You're at the value area low. To me, this is a pretty fair trade to look at for a potential ride back up to the high of the macro range. So as you can see, that 15-minute money flow crosses over into the green. And this thing was almost instantly in profit. You did go for a little bit of a ride, but you can see it starts to play out pretty well. Take another little dip to the downside, and then we wind up coming back up. I'm going to speed things up here just a little bit so we're not sitting here all day. And you can see, and again, this is the 15-minute. You're going to see those up and downs a lot more, but if you move this up to the 4-hour, guys, you can see we came right up to that POC. This is where you would expect a little bit of turbulence, and we moved price forward a little bit. And what happened? We shot right up to that value area high. Absolutely beautiful. So there you go. I mean, this was a bigger move of about 9.36%. And again, this is that position that I am still holding right now, up about $3,600. So as you can see here, guys, it wasn't just the money flow crossing into the green or the 4-hour green dot. This is what really gave us the idea that we could see a trend to the upside. And then when you look at your key levels like the volume profile, and we noticed that we were holding above that value area low, it then becomes very clear that, hey, if we hold this and that 4-hour, 15-minute strategy plays out, the next likely stop for Bitcoin is going to be that POC of the range. And if we flip that POC to support, the next likely place is going to be the value area high. And this is how I find my take profit levels, as well as kind of where I'll be looking to hold this trade up till, right? Like once you get to the value area high, this is a pretty nice trade. You may just want to lock out your profits and walk away. But if you have reasons to look up and look to higher prices, you may want to hold it for a little bit more profit. So just a quick little recap before I let you guys go here. I know that might have been a lot to digest, but again, all you're doing for this strategy is looking for a 4-hour green or red dot and then looking for the corresponding money flow crossover on the 15-minute time frame. Everything else as far as the volume profile, the Fibonacci levels, and the Lux Algo entry strategy, it's kind of a double strategy video there. That Lux Algo entry strategy is super saucy. However, these are just additional things to add confluence and to find that sniper entry into the trade. But at the end of the day, if you didn't use that Lux Algo entry strategy and you just entered based off the money flow crossover, this still would have been a massively profitable trade for you. And I know a lot of the beginners out there in the Mafia are looking for something very simple to follow along with, and this is one of the most simple trading strategies that I have ever seen, even though, for the most part, I use this for confluence at this point. If I was a beginner, I would be all over this. So with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's video. Hopefully this helps some of the new Candle Mafia members get on board with trading and really fall in love with the charts. And hopefully it helps everybody realize all this potential money that is just sitting in the market waiting for you to collect that bag. So with all that being said, shout out to the Candle Mafia. Go hop on TradingView, pull up Market Cypher B, backtest those money flow crossovers. And then whether you want to use my Lux Algo entry strategy or you just want to blindly long those 15-minute money flow crossovers, again, I don't recommend that, but go back, backtest this, see if it works for you, and start making some profits trading this thing they call Bitcoin, whether the price is going up or down. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you in the next one, Mafia. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candle
Here
out.
we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah.